Good evening. Do you know that Parl liked jazz music? Yeah, he liked jazzy music. Yeah, that's true. You know how we know that? Because the Sarah Ophim served him rock and roll. In Mitzrayim, you could tell if a mother was dead or alive by what her children called her. What's the difference between a dead Mitzri mother and a live Mitzri mother? One is a mummy, and one is a mommy. In order to become a mommy, you have to get married. Now that reminds me of a joke. Why was there a shidduch crisis in Mitzrayim? For two reasons. First of all, because all the boys were in denial. In denial. And second of all, 4/5 of Klal Yisrael refused to go out. Good stuff. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Give money to Ura, everyone. Peace. Welcome. Thank you very much. On November 27th, 2014, China passed a ban on puns. This is not a joke. It really happened. For example, the following joke would be against the law. What is the first thing they do when a baby is born in China? They put a sticker on its back that says, "Made in China." This is the craziest law I have ever heard. I heard of arresting people for illegal guns, but I have never heard of arresting people for illegal puns. If I would live in China, I would take a stand right now before things spin out of control. Today, they're only banning jokes, but soon they'll ban real things too. First they'll say it's illegal for a chicken to cross a road, then they'll say it's a crime to change a light bulb. Before you know it, they'll outlaw the in-laws. And finally, if World War II would be today, Shanghai would allow Mir, but they would never allow Punovich. But Punovich, you get it? Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now this is really interesting. A person's clothing should not be random. It should match their unique tafkid in life. For example, what type of sweater should a police officer wear? A pullover! What type of pants should a DNA specialist wear? Jeans! Jeans with a G. Jeans. What type of jacket should a fireman wear? A blazer! Of course you know that. How should a lawyer come dressed to court? In a lawsuit. In a lawsuit. And in a Yiddish Tam, what is a Chussid's favorite baseball team? The White Sox. Yo, the nice Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Welcome. No, sit, please. You know, we should never, ever change our customs. I'm a nice Litvisher boy, and I was set up with a Hasidic girl. I wasn't sure what to do. Should I sit in, or should I go out? I went to the girl's house for the first time. When she came to the door, I asked her to stay or to go. She told me, you know, my Rebbitzin says that marriage is all about compromise. I have the perfect compromise. I'll sit in, and you'll go out. Right then, the Shver and Shviger walked into the room. The Shver sat down and asked me a kushya on the Gemara I was supposed to be learning. He asked me, why don't you know the Gemara? I said, on Cholix, but it's very hard to be in the sugya when you're in the parsha. The Shver said, if you don't know the sugya, at least say a vort. I told him, on Cholix, I don't mean to be rude, but this is the first time I'm meeting your daughter. Don't you think it's a little too early to be talking about a vort? Thank you so much. I love you. You're the best. so much. You're the best. I was once at a grocery where a badchin was making jokes about food. This is what he said. Where's the best place in Brooklyn for a date? Pomegranate! Yeah! What do you call a raisin that had a nervous breakdown? A craisin. What do you call an apple that had a nervous breakdown? A Snapple. Finally, there was a can of iced tea that wanted to marry something in the grocery store. What should it marry? The answer is, if the iced tea is brisk, then it can marry anything, as long as it's a Hadar product. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. You know, everyone loves a ticket, unless, of course, it's from a policeman. If you ever pulled over by a cop, it's very important not to say something silly. Here's an example of something you should never tell a police officer. I was just driving 20 miles over the speed limit and was pulled over by a policeman. The policeman said, "Sir, I've been following you for the past 5 miles. Do you know what you did wrong?" I said, "Yes, officer, I know exactly what I did wrong. I forgot to check in my rearview mirror before I stepped on the gas." One time while speeding, I was pulled over by a policeman. The cop says, "Sir, did you know that you were going 25 miles over the speed limit?" I said, "Officer, I know that I'm speeding, but I have no choice. It's an emergency. My wife is about to have a baby, and I need to take her to the hospital." The cop was about to let me go when he noticed that I was the only person in the car. The cop said, "How can it be you're taking your wife to the hospital? Your wife isn't even in the car." I said, "Shoots! I knew I forgot something." Another time, I was speeding and had this conversation with the cop. "Sir, you were going 25 miles over the speed limit. That will be a $300 fine and 4 points on your license." 4 points? Wow, I'm excited. How many points can I earn altogether? "You can get up to 12 points. "What do I do when I earn 12 points? "When you have 12 points, you get a bike." That's what he told me, the cop. That was pretty funny for the cop. Thank you. Thank you very much. Привята, пожалуйста. We have to thank Hashem that we live in a free country, where we can say whatever we want about our country. In communist Russia, you can't say anything bad about the country. The KGB would listen to your phone calls and read your letters. If you said or wrote anything bad about Russia, you would be sent to Siberia in this very bad place. There were 2 brothers living in Russia. One was called Vladimir and one was called Sasha. One day, Sasha decided to move to America. Sasha told Vladimir, "I may soon be in America, but I will still be worrying about our beloved Russia. I will send you letters, and I want you to write back explaining how our country is doing." Vladimir asked Sasha, "What if our country is not doing well? If I write the truth, I will be getting into big troubles." Sasha said, "I have an idea. No matter how the country is doing, only write good things. But here's the catch. If what you're writing is true, then write in blue pen. If your writing is not true, then write it in red pen. This way, I will know exactly what is happening in Russia, and nobody will get into trouble." Vladimir agreed, and Sasha went to America. A year later, Vladimir received a letter from Sasha. "Dear Vladimir, how is my beloved Russia doing? Is there enough bread to eat? Is there enough milk to drink? Love, Sasha." As soon as Vladimir got the letter, he took out a blue pen and wrote back, "Dear Sasha, life in Russia is great. Here in Russia, I can buy whatever I want. I can buy as much fresh bread as I want. I can buy as much fresh milk as I want. The only thing I can't buy is a red pen." The KGB were so concerned, they even sent spies into the past and the future. The Russians spent 1 billion ruble, which is about $1 American, on building a time machine. This allowed them to spy on everyone that lived since Chasius Yame Boratius. The KGB wanted to spy on New York City in the 21st century, so they planted bugs in the water. The KGB wanted to spy on Yidden in the Beis Hamikdash, so they mixed the spy into the Ketores. What was the name of the Russian in the Ketores? Boris Karshina. Boris Karshina. Boris. You get it? Boris. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. I mean, look at you. Oh, you're the best. Now, the United States, okay, now not to get too serious with you guys, but the United States has a serious debit problem. Yeah, there are $16 trillion in debt. Now, that's a lot. Now, what can be done about it? I mean, someone had the idea. Let's mint trillion-dollar coins and use them to pay the debt. You know, is this what Obama meant when he promised us change? Now, 4 years ago, the president told NASA that the astronauts can no longer go up in space. Now, this is the same president that refuses to enforce the immigration laws. I mean, he'll never let us go to the aliens, but he has no problem with the aliens coming here. Now, the Obamacare website was a disaster. I mean, the president hired a bunch of technicians to figure out why the website, wasn't working properly. After checking it out, they told the president, Mr. President, it seems that the computers have a virus that is not covered by Obamacare. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Oh, this is so fun. This stuff cracks me up. The other day, while I was shopping on 13th Avenue, I saw a sign that said, "We're open for the Small Business Saturday." I was shocked. Absolutely shocked. Flabbergasted. I mean, I was brought up that we're not allowed to do any business on Saturday. What's the difference if it's a big business or a small business? I continued shopping, and I thought of some good jokes. What do they tell you when you walk out of Best Buy? Goodbye. Why are there no Walmarts in Iraq? You know why? Because there was a Target on every corner. When I finished shopping, I went to Davin Mariv at a Minion Factory. A Minion Factory is amazing. A Minion Factory is the only factory that's open 7 days a week and is still Shomer Shabbos. Thank you so much. Good evening, thank you. Now, Venice, is a great place for a vacation. It's also, one of the strangest cities in the world. It's the only city in the world where the street signs say no fishing. In a regular city, when a kid is late for school, he says, "I'm sorry I'm late, I missed the bus." In Venice, he says, "I'm sorry, I missed the boat." Every town has people that help kids, cross the street. In a regular city, there are crossing guards. In Venice, to help you cross the street, you got lifeguards. And on a personal note, I mean, the busiest street in Lakewood is Route 9. The busiest street in Muncie is Route 59, and the busiest street in Venice is Root Canal. Root Canal, get it? Root. Good evening. Welcome. Thank you. Now, it ends with a wedding, but it starts with a first, the dreaded first date. Now, my first date ever was actually in an ice hotel, which I thought would be cool. An ice hotel is a hotel, where everything in it is and everything about it is made out of ice. Now, I went into an ice hotel so that just in case I say something really dumb, I would be able to say, I don't usually say dumb things. I just slipped. Now, I walked inside the lobby holding an ice pick in my hand, and my date asked me, "Why did you bring an ice pick?" And I told her, I got very uncomfortable on the first date, so I brought along an ice pick to break the ice. I sat down and I took off my coat. And the girl asked me, like, aren't you cold? And I said, nah, I'm used to this weather. I just got out of the freezer. You got the liquid freezer. That is my cold. Well, and then in the middle, my luck would have it, it starts raining while I'm on my date. and I jumped out of my seat and I started running. And the girl runs after me and she says, hey, calm down, it's just a little rain. Hey, you're not going to melt. I said, I'm not going to melt, but the hotel is. I'm getting out of here. Yeah. And now after that date, the shotgun called me and told me that she's sorry, but the girl said no. You know why? It seems she got cold feet. Thank you. Good night. Thanks. Thank you. No, please. Thanks. Oh my God. Anyways, nowadays, kids learn how to text, before they even learn how to talk. Someone that I know had a 3-year-old that wasn't texting as fast as the other kids in his playgroup. His mother was so worried about him that she took him to a therapist. The therapist asked the mother, what's the problem with your son? Is he having a hard time with Kriya? The mother answered, well, kind of. He's having trouble with the text. I have an 8-year-old friend who downloaded the entire shots on his iPod. Really, true story. He walks around and brags that he's the only 8 years old, and he has shots on his fingertips. There was a 5th grade Rebbe that was teaching his class Parshas Yisro. He said, at Har Sinai, the Yidden accepted 2 tablets. One kid raised his head and asked, Rebbe, what if he didn't want a tablet? Could he have an iPad instead? The next week, Parshas Mishpatim, the Rebbe taught the pasuk, Ayin tachas ayin, shein tachas shein. You know how he touched it? An iPhone for an iPhone, a Bluetooth for a Bluetooth. Thank you. No, you're too good. Sit down. Okay. I am very good with predictions, okay? I don't know if you know that about me. I am an excellent predictor. I am a prognosticator par excellence. I can predict anything. In 2016, there will be elections in America. That's not my prediction. That's a fact. But you know which party is going to win? Achashverosh's party. And you know why Achashverosh will win? Because he has a great slogan. Tired of the Tea Party? Try the wine party. President Bush, he was a man. He made the first Hanukkah party in the White House. President Obama, made the first Seder, Pesach Seder in the White House. President Achashverosh will make the first Purim Suda in the White House. And President Achashverosh will get so drunk, he won't be able to tell the difference between Osama and Barack Obama. That reminds me of a joke. Which yeshiva did Osama bin Laden go to after he died? Waterbury. Oh, I could see people taking offense to that. That's just funny stuff. Okay. Oh. Thank you so much. I'm just going to get right into it here. You know when your car is not working properly and you say, I'm telling you, this car has got a mind of its own. Well, Google just came out with a car that actually has a mind of its own. No, really, this is true. The Google car really has a mind of its own. It's a self-driving car. The other day, a driverless car crashed into a pole. Yeah. B'chazdei Shemayim, nobody got hurt. A driverless car was speeding. And the bad news is that it was pulled over by a police car. The good news is that the police car was also driverless. And on a personal note, it used to be that every car needed at least one adult inside. Why? Because someone had to be the driver. But now, cars can be just for kids. Right, like the jingle. Okay, thank you so much. Good night, everyone.